Shooters aren't my favourite genre of video game. I used to think when I was younger that I didn't like them, but now I seem to be playing quite a few, and a couple are some of my favourite video games of all time. So, how did it turn out like this? Because really, I never seemed to play shooters as a kid, which is probably what led me to think that I didn't like them. I always used to be like, well, I'm just gonna play flipping Smash Bros and not gonna touch Call of Duty ever. I still haven't touched a Call of Duty, but you know, there's more games that are shooters that isn't Call of Duty. Anyway, but anyway, a bit later on, I started to dip my toes into the genre, as people would always recommend shooters. It's like, oh, this is a great game. This one's a great game. Yeah, okay. So I always just end up playing games I recommend. Anyway, I started out, the first shooter I probably played, I think, was Splatoon on the Wii U, which, you know, yeah, isn't actually really a shooter, but it is as well as a third-person shooter, it counts. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. It's like generally a really good game. I didn't play it loads, but good, yeah. And then I got a second-hand PS3, quite a while into the PS4 lifespan. Anyway, I played the first games I got on it were the Uncharted trilogy. I played them; those were pretty good. And then I played the Half-Life games on my laptop soon after because they were the only thing that could run on my garbage computer, which was also pretty good. Half-Life 2 used to be my favourite first-person shooter. Anyway, but these three games were my introduction into the three kinds of shooter: online, third-person, and first-person. Which, you know, obviously online can be both first and third-person, but you know, and there's probably other kinds of shooter. Like, does top-down shooter count? Not really, but you know, whatever. As I am now, I would say that shooters are a pretty good genre. I enjoy most of them that I play, more than I enjoy platformers, which, you know, which if I told my old self, I don't think they would believe. Anyway, as you can probably guess, I didn't have a lot of time playing shooters, which has led me to not being very good at them. I'm not very good at video games in general, but especially I'm not very good at them. So if the clips that play throughout the video seem like I'm bad, it's because I am bad. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about my favourite out of these three sub-genres, you could say, that I identified: my favourite online, my favourite third person, and my favourite first person. And we will start with Vanquish being my favourite third person shooter. Now, Vanquish, if you haven't heard of it, is an action third person shooter released in 2010. And so it was released during the time most third-person shooters that came out were cover-based, such as Uncharted and Gears of War. Vanquish is also technically a cover-based shooter, with one major difference. It was developed by Platinum Games, who developed Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising with Vengeance, and Nier Automata. However you pronounce that, I still don't know. I need to play that actually. Anyway, so you can probably guess that Vanquish puts a unique spin on this well-established gameplay of cover shooters, because those three games are like flashy action games. Anyway, in Vanquish, you can play it as you would any other type. You can play it as any other game of this type, hiding behind cover and occasionally peeking out to shoot enemies, running to the next bit of cover and doing the same thing, and if you get shot, you just hide behind cover a bit more. Or you can play it in the better way, which is sliding across the battlefield whilst also slowing down time to get precise shots on enemies. You know, sounds pretty cool. This is what makes Vanquish one of my favourite shooters, as it adds fast-paced movement and complex gameplay to a pretty stagnant gameplay style, to make the game a thrill to play through and through. I originally played this game on my PS3 a couple of years ago, but for this video I bought it on my PC, with a mouse and keyboard. Bought on my PC so I could record it, but also so I could use a mouse and keyboard. And this just makes it so much more fun, because my god, trying to fucking shoot stuff with a controller is so hard, and it's so much easier with a fucking keyboard and a mouse specifically a mouse. Platinum Games are known for making the player feel stylish, and this game certainly delivers on this aspect. One of the best things you can do, in my opinion, is throw a grenade and then dodge to slow down time and shoot the grenade in mid-air, or if you hit maybe higher up enemies. You can even light a cigarette and throw it to distract enemies. It's just great. There's also, with any shooter, a variety of weapons. They're all pretty fun to use, and enemies that require not just hiding behind cover. There's some that it would be good to go and slide behind them, and it's just fun to slide around and slow down time. But the thing is, as with any Platinum game, it has a high skill ceiling, so it isn't boring. You can always improve, and that gives it a high replay value. Boss fights are also pretty good, greatly incorporating the gameplay. Basically, just the best part of the game is just the sliding and the shooting. It's just what makes the game so fun. Like, just shooters are fun if they add a kind of different spin on just the basic formula. There are some downsides to this game. The story is a pretty basic and uninteresting, and the environment is pretty samey throughout, mostly being greys, except for this one section where there are some plants, and that does go for a nice contrast, but mostly it's just grey in space. Overall, this game is incredibly fast-paced, action-packed, and just pure fun. So yeah, play it. It's good. It's on PS4 as well, so they remastered it with Bayonetta. I still haven't played Bayonetta either, but I got it on PC. Now on to my favourite online shooter, which is actually the only online shooter I've spent a decent amount of time playing, apart from Splatoon, which, does it count? Who knows? But anyway, that is Valorant. This game came out earlier this year. I decided to play it because some of my friends asked me to. So I thought, why not? Because I saw my younger brother play a lot of CSGO. So I understood the basics, so I was like, yeah, I can play this game probably. I'll probably get it. To my surprise, I actually really enjoyed this game. Even though I've had no interest in playing CSGO. And I still don't really. Just because Valorant looked a lot more accessible, and just is a lot more accessible from what I've had, to newcomers, to shooters. The reason it is accessible is because of probably the main reason is because of the different characters you can play called agents, which isn't a new idea to shoot online shooters, but makes the game more appealing to me than Counter-Strike, because each character has their own abilities, which gives it a differential feel, and they're all pretty interesting and don't require a lot of learning to do. Like in CSGO, you'd have to learn all the lineups for all your flashes and your smokes, whereas there's only like 2 characters in Valorant where you have to learn lineups. You definitely have to learn lineups for Sova and Viper, but if you want like a character that can smoke, you can just play Omen and play smokes wherever you want on the map, which is great. It just makes it so much easier to play the game. Anyway, getting to the actual gameplay, I'm not very good at the game. The highest rank at the time of recording was Bronze 2, which isn't very good. But the game is still incredibly enjoyable, even so much that I've gone out of my way to research certain aspects of the game to help improve myself, because I do want to get better at the game, even if I don't plan on getting the highest rank. I'm never going to get Immortal or Radiant. Probably the highest I could get is maybe Silver or Gold. Really, I'm just not very good, but it's still fun. It's still good. Anyway. So actually explain the gameplay, maybe. Valorant is a 5 versus 5 tactical shooter, where one team defends a certain sites, and the other team tries to plant the spike or a bomb on these sites. Basically just the rules of Counter-Strike. But it's a lot more hectic, as the agents have all these different abilities to do stuff. Like I said, obviously you've got the traditional smokes and flashes, but you've also got like Omen can teleport, and then Yoru, the new character, has a better teleport, and you have recon stuff, and you have like Killjoy has a turret to know where people are, and you use Cypher's tripwire, lots of different stuff to help either kill. Well, most of the abilities aren't to kill, most of the abilities are actually to help you with some aspects of the gameplay. So either trying to locate enemies, trying to slow down enemies, trying to block vision, that kind of stuff. The only character that's purely on like damage is Raze, right? Like a blast packs are for movement, a grenade is for blocking pushes but also does damage. What's another? Boombot is for locating enemies. So yeah, those were their 4 but they also all do damage as well. You know. Anyway, even if I don't play well on certain days, like, my god, some days I just play garbage, and then some days I get 2 aces in one game, and then that just never happens again for some reason. Anyway, still fun to mess around with my friends every once in a while. Even on one occasion, we played a custom game with just infinite abilities, which means infinite ultimates, which, you know, are the rare abilities, you could say. And I was just dropping killjoy ultimates everywhere, which, if you know the game, is this like item you place on the ground, and it creates this area where if you stay in it, you'll get basically locked in place. But because it's infinite, I just placed them all over the map, and I was lagging my friend's computer out like crazy. But it was just so much fun. Just throwing out millions of stuff. It's great. Obviously, that's kind of like breaking the game, but it's still fun to do. I also really like the tactical elements to the game, which is obvious because of the genre. It's a tactical shooter. I like how you have to think everything through, as one mistake will get you killed for the round. Makes a lot of interactions really tense, even if I don't have good decision making under pressure. I always do the most stupid things and get myself killed, which is probably why I'm not very good at the game. I need to have more rational thinking. And I probably like this kind of thing because I really like turn-based strategy games. But also, it doesn't kind of go along with my desire for shooters, which is fast-paced, action-packed. This is kind of more slow-paced. But it still makes up for that somehow. Anyway, gunplay is also pretty fun. Obviously, the guns I go to, Phantom, that's what I like. But you know, obviously I also like the Bulldog because it's when you aim down sight, it does a like a burst, and that's fun. And I've also been using the Bucky more because that is also really good. I've got like I almost got an ace with the Bucky, but you know, I got at most 4 kills with the Bucky, and it's just great. It's really useful. You just throw it away to get a better gun. The game can be also really frustrating if I just don't play well and we just lose by a lot and it just isn't fun. But when you either it's like a close game or you win by a lot, then that's fun. Like, I prefer it to be a close game than we just stomp them. I like a challenge, but I don't want it to be too challenging that we just completely lose. Like 12-3 or something. If we lose, I'd rather it be close. Overall, it's probably the most time I've spent on an online shooter. I don't intend to stop soon. At the time of writing this anyway. With constant new updates adding new agents, maps, and game modes. Icebox is a good map, by the way. It just is. It's just so much more interest. And Ascent is... I like Ascent, and then I didn't like Ascent. That just gets on my nerves sometimes. And then Bind is just alright, and Haven's just alright. Icebox is actually the only one I actually like. Apart from in Deathmatch, Icebox is an awful Deathmatch map. Anyway, some other gripes I have with the gameplay is the operator. It's a pain to deal with. I know, just get good. Yeah, okay. And people just instantly headshot you is really annoying as well. I just need to be able to do that as well. There we go. And then sometimes the enemies can be kind of annoying. Rushing on defense is stupid. Like, they're allowed to do that, but can you not, please? Anyway, great game otherwise. It might sound like a lot of gripes, and yeah. The game does have a lot of problems, but still, really accessible, really fun. Finally, onto my favourite first-person shooter of all time. And my favourite out of the 3 I've talked about today, obviously, is Doom Eternal. Christmas 2019, I got my new gaming laptop, and the first thing I did with it was get Doom 2016, and that was a great game. But I felt like I was missing something to make it truly one of my favourites. Then March came around, and Doom Eternal was released. And as soon as I started playing, I could tell that I would love it. Genuinely, just so good. Doom 2016 was already fast-paced, action-packed, but Doom Eternal increases this speed twofold. Just for some reason, when you go back to 2016, the movement speed just feels slow. I don't know if it actually is, but it just feels slower. And that's probably also because in Doom Eternal you can dash, and that just makes movement quicker as well. Anyway, there's lots of different ways to traverse arenas in Eternal. With bars you can swing across, jump pads, etc. That makes each fight just so much more fun to jump around and swing above enemies as you shoot them in mid-air. Like, a game is good if it's fast-paced, but also just variety of movement options is also is what makes it truly fun, if you know what I mean. Like if you're just running around shooting, after going through this, I think of what I realised what I like in a shooter. There's some sort of different movement or something different you can do, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, what's even better is the addition of dashes, which I mentioned before, which speed up movement even more, and are basically essential for surviving a battle. Dashing out of danger, dashing into a fight, just dashing all around because it's fun, dashing into a wall and that's really annoying. Alright, yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, most of the new enemies are also great, as they add a new dynamic to each fight they're in. You know, as you have to prioritise which enemies to kill first, because, you know, oh, this one's going to charge at me, so I need to kill it, but this one's going to shoot at me from a distance, so maybe I need to kill it before I kill the one charging at me. But really, the whiplash is super annoying. I hate that enemy so much. Although there are ways to deal with every enemy, even if they are annoying. The whiplash, you can use the ice grenade, you can use the lock-on rocket launcher. Other enemies which are slightly annoying, there's always a way to deal with them. The Marauder is a controversial enemy as well, as it changes the pace of a battle dramatically, as you literally have to ignore everything and focus on it. And you know, if there's still enemies in the arena, they're just going to be shooting you from all angles. Overall, I'm kind of in the middle, my opinion on it. In some cases, it's pretty fun to fight. Once you know its attack pattern, but in other cases, the arena is just too small to deal with it. Or on the DLC, we have to fight 2 at once, and that's super annoying. And also, its dog is annoying. And I know it's like, oh, if you shoot the shield, then don't shoot the shield, because that's only when the dog appears. But the enemies can shoot the Marauder shield, and then the dog appears. Like, at one point, I just never shot the shield, but the dog still appeared, and it's so annoying. Just, enemies, stop shooting the shield. I'm sure you've heard this from everyone who has talked about Doom Eternal. The battles do have a really nice flowing rhythm to them, where you have to manage health, ammo, shield, using all the different actions you have, such as glory kills, chainsaw, and flame belch, as well as, you know, just shooting enemies. And that's what makes a fast-paced combat from being too hectic, as you're always trying to manage something with a clear goal in mind. It's like a micromanagement minigame, but, you know, all the time. Well, not all the time, during every battle. And I think that's a lot more fun. You know, they limited the ammo on each gun more, so you have to use the chainsaw more, and so you have to switch weapons more. It's just great. And obviously, the weapons are also great. You know, super shotgun with the flipping grappling hook. I didn't actually write this down. Am I stupid? The grappling hook on the super shotgun's the best part of the flipping game. It adds even more movement to the game. What I just said is I love movement options, and the grappling hook. Oh my god, so good. Except when it doesn't work. Sometimes I just want to aim at something and do it, and it just won't. But apart from that, just zipping across the screen is great. I love it. So fun. Because you can literally just get up to new heights or swing past enemies, and yeah, like why isn't that cool? A grappling hook on a shotgun is great. But also, you know, like the rocket launcher is great. The crossbow thingy was actually cool. That's pretty good. If you actually use, I'm using controller for Doom Eternal because I don't think it would run on my laptop. Even though it's a gaming laptop, I don't think it would be able to run the newest games. So I played it on PS4. So I, you know, obviously I'm not playing at its best, way it's intended, but it's still good. Anyway, talk about back to the guns. I don't know why I just said that, but it would be more fun if I was on PC because then I can actually aim the guns better, which is why I prefer to go for the shotgun and the rocket launcher, because you know you don't have to aim precisely. The Gatling gun's great. That's super fun. Just great guns. It would be nice if they added some new ones. So I think they did, apart from the Unmaker, but that's not a proper gun. And they also added a sword, and that's really cool. You know, sword that insta kill stuff. That's great. Anyway, I also really like the runes, as they add more customizability to the game. Stuff like that's also great. Being able to have like mini changes to your character. My favourite being better in-air movement. As probably have guessed, I really like jumping around. It's just great. And just the regular in-air movement is so bad. And you can also make the game play like a first-person Vanquish in a way, with the runes that slow down time when you use a mod in the air, and also the rune that slows down time right before you die. So yeah, you basically can be, kind of. How the game looks is obviously also incredibly good. It looks super good. I do prefer the graphical style of 2016. you know, less like cartoony and more like actual like horror-y, but it's still some of the landscapes still look beautiful, like so good. And the boss battles, even though they're not my preferred kind, like in 2016, like I said, this is probably the only two things I prefer about 2016: boss battles and the actual graphical design. But the boss battles in 2016 were like proper, like one-on-one, whereas in Eternal it's like arena fight with multiple other enemies, and yeah, they're pretty good, but some like slightly annoying. But yeah, good boss battles, and there's a story as well, which is pretty interesting, but also it's not really needed. Let's go back to the main part of the game, is the battles. They don't get stale like in 2016. You know, in 2016 you were just gun battle after battle after battle. But in Eternal, they're split up with platforming and exploration, which makes it a lot easier to play the game for a long period of time, a lot more fun. If you do a platforming in first person and then add a gun to it, it makes it more fun. But platforming's really fun. Maybe because of the dash. I think I figured it out. If there's a dash in a platformer, it just makes it more fun. I like Celeste with the dash, that's great. And in Eternal, there's a dash and you can swing on bars. It's so much more fun. I don't know why, but there you go. That's what I like. I haven't mentioned this today, but I do like to mention every video. The soundtrack. My god, so good. Video game soundtracks need to be more appreciated. Especially the Doom series soundtrack. This is so good. Metal isn't my go-to genre, but Eternal soundtrack is just pure gold. The only thing that they fears you is so good. It's the best Doom song. I love it. Second best is BFDJ version, but that was in the first game, so whatever. Anyway, there are some things I don't like about the game, because you know not every game is perfect, apart from Majora's Mask. Sorry. Anyway, some levels with the have like a slow, swampy kind of area. Which basically removes the whole reason why I love this game, is you walk at an incredibly slow pace, like a snail's pace, and these tentacle enemies come up from the ground and start attacking you out the floor. And they are in other parts of the games, but the way you deal with them is you move closer to them to see if they're going to come out, then move back and shoot them. That's what I do anyway. But you can't do that in the flipping swamp, so you basically just have to walk up to them and then get hit. It's so annoying, and you basically can't jump either. My god, why is that even in the game? It's so bad. And the dash basically does nothing. It's so bad. And some of the enemies require headshot. Like, well, they don't require headshot, but in the DLC there's these... No, wait, do they in the DLC? Maybe they do require headshot. DLC is completely different. Well, not completely different. It's a whole other bag. It's not as good as the main game. It's still pretty good. It's just kind of annoying hard. But can you not force us to headshot when I have to play on PS4? It's... another nitpick of mine is that sometimes I don't want to use one of my extra lives, as I feel fight's already a lost cause. I just want to start over. I don't want to waste one of my lives. I also don't want to restart from a checkpoint. I don't even know if that works. But I don't want to waste one of my lives. I just want to save it. So I want to, until I'm in a tough situation where I've nearly won, and then I want to use a life, I'd rather ask me if I want to use a life or not. And another nitpick is that why did they reduce the Cacodemon down to just throw a grenade into its mouth and insta-kill it? Like it was one of the hardest enemies in 2016, and now it's just like a gimmick enemy, if you know what I mean. Like, I like how they made it so some enemies have the way of reducing their combat ability, like shooting off their cannons or whatever. But I don't like it when the whole way to beat an enemy is through the gimmick, if you know what I mean. Overall, Doom Eternal is one of my favourite games of 2020, and my favourite shooter because of its fast-paced combat, amazing gunplay, great OST, and overall just a joy to play. Especially the moment where you get to play as a Revenant, and then when you come back and he gives you the super shotgun, you just shoot him in the face. That's a great moment. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a while since I uploaded a video, and that's because school, I guess, maybe. Also, I just couldn't be bothered. Hopefully, you enjoy this. I might make more. I do have a Valorant compilation planned, which I might upload. Just clips of me being bad. Well, not exactly being bad, but it's just like iron bronze clips. So I don't know if it'd be incredibly interesting, but you might want to see how I play. Obviously, there are some clips in the background of this video of how I play, but they're probably clips from recently, whereas this compilation is from when I started playing the game. They're not as good, but oh well. Maybe you look forward to that. Maybe everybody says, but I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, maybe. You know, tell me if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.